looking at these pictures and videos, do you feel nervous or dizzy, short of breath, sweating, feeling panic, wanting to look away but somehow you kept staring at them? Then you may have a phobia of giant things. Today we're going to delve into megalophobia, the reasons behind it, and how it can be used visually to influence our mind and decisions. Let's go! Hello everyone, welcome to Visual Literacy Hub. This is Angela. I created this channel to record my daily observation and analysis about this very visual world that we live in, because I don't want to be passively consumed by the bombarding visual information thrown at me. I want to stay critical and be a clever consumer. My analysis you see in this channel is 100% personal, nothing close to professional opinions. I want this channel to be about you and I together, taking our time to see, to think, and to share. Well, let the fun begin! As the name suggests, megalophobia is a phobia of having an inexplicable fear of huge objects. The objects could be large ships, giant octopus, towering sculptures, or a large body of water. Search the internet for various keywords related to megalophobia, and you will find countless images in the field of sculpture, architecture, games, movies, and art that may make you sweat. And if you're lucky, you could be living in a city with well-known huge objects that make people nervous and amazed at the same time. For example, the Golden Dam in Tasmania, Australia, Siberia's diamond mine, and the giant Buddha statue in Japan. It is normal to feel a little nervous when standing in front of a giant object, but for some people, these fears become more severe, causing vomiting, crying, or fainting, which could have a negative impact on their life and social interaction. The exact cause of this phobia are unknown. One of the most mentioned theories is that it is related to human evolution, that we have an instinctive fear of things that can threaten our survival, such as large beasts and extreme weather, which are just too powerful for us to resist. For humans, therefore, the cause of megalophobia is not the size, but the implication of death. Therefore, megalophobia is a biological instinct to avoid harm. Some people also support the idea that megalophobia comes from our imagination. Seeing a mountain and imagining a landslide, seeing a huge creature in the water and think about being swallowed. Over-fancying mind of us could be the reason behind megalophobia. A child might not be as afraid of something appearing huge in the movie because he has not learned the consequences of disasters from reality, books, or movies. In the human brain, there is an important area called the amygdala. This small area controls human emotions, allows us to produce feelings such as fear. But it is also closely related to the production of pleasure. So, physiologically speaking, fear and pleasure are not two completely unrelated emotions. A huge object first gives us an intuition of shock. It is not the norm in our lives, and when it appears, we feel confused, helpless, and fall into instinctive fear. But when you use your common sense to realize it's not going to threaten your life, or understand that it is just a work of artistic imagination, which is completely impossible to happen in reality, your fear will gradually reduce. This kind of hindsight, the feeling of finding out that you're not actually in danger, will actually cause a thrill. It's like watching a horror movie. The more scared you are, the more you want to see it. Because at the back of your mind, you also know it's not real. It's not going to hurt you, and you're safe. So for most of us, some mild degrees of megalophobia is actually a weird kind of excitement. So how is megalophobia used to influence us in everyday life? One of the most obvious uses is in the field of media. For example, many sci-fi movies use strong visual contrast of size to draw our attention. In the movie Arrival, as one of the most memorable alien spaceships appeared in cinema, the size is completely beyond what can be made artificially. It's highly abstract in shape, opaque, no windows, implying its alien and exotic nature. Especially when watching this movie in IMAX cinema, the audience can almost immerse in the shocking visual contrast of the large ship and its surroundings, feeling nervous and excited. Another common use is in games, because most of them are filled with surreal scenes. It allows the next level immersion and participation more than in films and 2D illustrations. When paired with VR, games like Resident Evil allows the players to literally look up to the giant monsters and creatures. The VR masterpiece Spaceship shows the huge planet and object right above you, entirely occupying your sight. And of course, you've definitely seen the Attack of the Titans. Remember the shock when you first saw those giants running towards you? These visual work stimulate our nerves all the time, making us pay for the tickets and voluntarily accept such visual punishment. But the side effect is, it's getting harder and harder to shock people with big things nowadays. We need bigger King Kong, bigger mecha, bigger spaceship, bigger everything, because we are so used to these big visuals in cinemas and games. Audiences are harder to please, pushing the media industries to keep producing larger and larger characters or scenes. However, to most of us, not all huge objects are frightening. For example, you probably won't feel nervous watching this Japanese commercial. So how is megalophobia achieved? First, it's about making use of everyday objects that seems harmless. A closer look at daunting photos or illustration of giant things reveals that many of them are enlargement of a small everyday object. When we see Mount Everest or the pyramid, we've always known them as huge things, so it's not a surprise. But what if we see a giant banana? When it is at the normal size, it's nothing threatening to us, and our contrasting sizes gives us a sense of security. However, if the normality is broken and reversed, the sense of security is gone, and insecurity follows, alerting us something is not right. In the game called Tiny Nightmares, everyday objects are enlarged while players control a tiny girl to explore a dark space. This makes those everyday objects suddenly seem daunting and unfamiliar. Next, we also manipulate the proportion of giant objects so they occupy most of the frame. In this video, it gives a sense of pressure not only through the immensity of the planet, but also through making the planet feel almost the whole picture. Such composition pressures us to think that we can't escape this bizarre thing in front of us, no matter which way we run. Another trick is the use of mist, darkness, or other elements to hide the giant objects. In this video, the fog enhances the apocalyptic feeling. When we can only get a glimpse of the giant, we naturally imagine the rest of them. And what could be more frightening than the unknown? Similar tricks are applied in shark movies. We don't get to see those sharks straight away. They are revealed little by little for us to imagine and build fear before the final shot. That's all I want to share with you in this episode. Thank you for watching. What giant object gives you goosebumps? Paste the link below so we can share your fear. Like this video and subscribe if you find it interesting or it inspired some critical thinking in you. See you next time. Bye!
Goodie.